Okay. Your Honor, she will not be appearing today. However, she did make her wishes clear to me yesterday evening.
In the interest of LaDawn Johnson, we are here today set for our adversary in this matter. We are live streaming and we are conducting this through Zoom under a finding of good cause.
Guardian ad litem for respondent mom LaDonna Johnson. I'm present and ready.
Stacy Zavala for the child.
All right, and as I stated earlier, Toria Ellis is present, who is a presumed father of the child, and Willie Washington is present, who has been an alleged father of the child. All right, gentlemen, I need you both to unmute for me, because I need to talk with you about some things. All right, first of all, Mr. Trout, any update on service on either Mr. Ellis or Mr. Washington?
We don't have service yet, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Mr. Ellis, let me talk to you first. Where do you live, sir?
I live in Oklahoma City. It's Spencer, Oklahoma.
Okay. You've been in contact with the department, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You understand what's going on today?
Yes, ma'am.
You've been named as a possible father to this child, LaDawn Johnson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Do you think that you possibly are the father of this child?
I don't know for sure.
Okay. Are you going to want genetic testing?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So let me just ask Mr. Washington similar questions. Mr. Washington, you're a presumed father of the child. Do you believe that you are the father of the child?
Unsure. We're unsure.
Okay. All right. So we need to, generally what we do is we genetic test one of you at a time. So Mr. Trout, does the department have any preference?
I don't have any preference really, Your Honor.
I think they're both going to want it.
They're both going to want it. I think, let me see. Mr. Washington's here in Texas. It may be easier to get his done first. But Mr. Ellis is the presumed father, so we may want to start with him.
Okay. Well, it kind of doesn't matter what order we're gonna.
Yeah.
I think they both are requesting, so I think we're probably gonna need to test both. But it's that, or we do one of our special orders and see if we can't get the Attorney General to
do both.
We can try.
I can try that way and just see if we can get it in the works to get both of them done.
Okay.
If they turn it down, then we'll pick one and start with one.
Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, here's how this works. You both are entitled to have an attorney represent you during this case. And this case has already been reset once. So we have some pretty tight guidelines that we have to have this hearing. And so we're getting, very close to that deadline. You've both obviously been in contact with the department because you got the link to log in today. I can look at the deadline and a reset date if you want. You can submit some paperwork to me. Have either of you been given that paperwork to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney?
No.
No, ma'am.
Okay, neither of you have?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, well, we need to, obviously, that paperwork needs to go to both of those gentlemen immediately.
Judge, it was sent to the addresses they provided to me with all the other paperwork, but both were returned with return to sender saying it was the wrong address.
Okay, we're live streaming, so I don't want you all telling me your addresses over YouTube. I might put you in a breakout room with the caseworker here in
Okay.
just a little bit so she can verify all of that. If you have an email address, I want you to give that to her because we can email that attorney form to you. But for purposes of today, what I need to know is if either of you or both of you are willing to proceed. Today, the mother is apparently agreed for the department to be named temporary managing conservator of the child. Obviously, the child was removed from the mother's home. I can put you all in a breakout room and let you visit with Mr. Trout, who represents the department, to see what you all want to do today. If you're comfortable proceeding, and what would be involved if the department is named temporary managing conservator, or whether or not you are wanting to request an attorney. Now, I don't know what either of your circumstances are, so I don't know whether you'll qualify for a court-appointed attorney until I get that information
Yes.
from you. So it's a little hard for me to judge without having that financial information from each of you, whether you would even qualify. So are you all willing to talk with Mr. Trout?
Yes.
Okay. The other individual on the screen that you need to be aware of is Mrs. Zavala. She is appointed to represent the child.
Mhm.
And so it might be beneficial if she's in there with you all, just to visit about preliminarily kind of what this is all about. So, all right. So, Mr. Trout, I'm going to put you all into a breakout room just for a few minutes and let you all just discuss if there's any possibility of moving forward. And then we got to look at what our drop dead date is on this.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Katie, can you take a look at that while I'm moving them around?
Judge already texted you.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Trout, I'm gonna move you to room 2 and I'll
Yes, ma'am.
into room 2.
Thank you, Judge.
Y'all are gonna get a little prompt that says join room 2. You can say join. Okay, where do we stand?
Your Honor, after meeting with both potential fathers, they have agreed today, get the paternity testing done and proceed from there. They're agreeing to the temporary managing conservatorship to the department. We're not asking for any child support or medical support at this time. And we'll get the genetic testing in. We'll try to do it concurrent and get them, my brain's not working today. We'll try to get them both put in the same order and have them tested at the same time.
Okay. Did you, while you all were in there, did you think about confirming their addresses, or do we need to get them in with the?
We talked about it, but we'll get them in with the workers and let them get the addresses to make sure we got it all right.
Okay, all right, when we conclude the hearing, we'll get them back in there, okay. All right, gentlemen, I appreciate your cooperation today. And we'll get this genetic testing set up as soon as we can. It takes a while. I can't tell you it's going to happen overnight, but we will get it set up. So, okay.
We did discuss, Your Honor, to go ahead and get the paperwork in. They can go ahead and get attorneys appointed, and whoever's found not to be will be dismissed out with them at that time. So we did to go through all that also.
Okay, great. Appreciate it. All right then, so as far as today's concerned, then it sounds like then Ms. Gomez, your client, and you and Ms. Sapien's client has agreed to name the department as temporary managing conservator. There won't be any child support or medical support ordered for your client. She's willing to work services in the case. And then with respect to Mr. Ellis and Mr. Washington, they both are willing to name the department as temporary managing conservator of the child, and we'll get them both genetic tested to determine who the father is. No child support or medical obviously is being ordered at this time for either of them. And whoever ends up being the father, then, at that point in time, then we're going to be looking at you to, work services with us to see whether the child needs to be placed with you. For one of you, there's going to be more to this at some point in time, but we'll make sure that paperwork gets to the both of you to fill out. And if you will, try to be as thorough as you can on that and give me as much information as you can about your income, earnings. If you if you don't have a job, obviously you can let me know that. If you draw a disability or something else like that, just let me know that. So give me as complete a picture as you can about your income and your expenses. All right, so we will get all of that to you. I'll move you into a breakout room and make sure that we've got correct contact information for you. So, let me just ask real quickly on the record, Ms. Gomez, Ms. Sapien, is that your client's agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Ellis, does this sound like what you've agreed to today, sir? Okay, you're muted, but I think you're saying yes, but I'll send you a prompt again.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay,
is this what you've agreed to today, sir?
yes,
All right, thank you. Mr. Washington, how about you? Same thing, you're muted, so,
Yes.
okay. All right, very good. All right, then, I find it is in the best interest of the child, LaDonna Johnson, to name the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services as the temporary managing conservator of the child. And I will not order any kind of child support or medical support to be paid at this time. We'll order the genetic testing on both Mr. Ellis and Mr. Washington. And we will talk more about services when we return for our next hearing, which is currently scheduled for May 29th of 2025. And that's on a 9 o'clock docket. So I will see y'all back then. Let me go ahead and get Mr. Ellis and Mr. Washington, and then who all do I need to put in there with them?
If you'll put Miss Larson and, is Miss Alford,
Yes, she's on here, Jordan.
Miss Jordan Alford in there. Marvell, do you want to go in there too?
No, I just wanted to make sure Jordan got the information.
Okay, okay.
Okay, I'm gonna put y'all in, I'm gonna move y'all to room 3. So,
Melody, you good? You want to go in there too? Okay.
okay. Got all of them assigned to room 3. Everybody else is free to go.
Yeah, Jordan is still, I'm still showing her on my screen. Did she go?
Well, I'll put her in there. I've assigned her to 3.
She may have stepped away.
Yeah, you can put me in there.
As I
get
say,
the
if you put
information.
Miss Collins in there, she's her supervisor, she'll be able to look at it.
All right, I'll put you in there, Ms. Collins. Thank you. Okay, everybody else is free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Brianna.
In the interest of Tavius Jones, and cause numbers 98890-2, in the interest of Terry Jones Jr. and Layla Jones. We are here today on a motion hearing. I believe Ms. Grant, Ms. Grant had filed a motion, and then I believe Ms. Naranjo has filed her motion, both requesting extensions in this case. Our upcoming dismissal date is May 12th of 2025. We are currently set for a final on May 6th on a 9 o'clock docket. I've reviewed both motions, but I'm going to allow everybody an opportunity to say their piece about it. So let's go ahead and take announcements from everybody.
Daniel Trial for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services. We're present, ready, Your Honor.
Sorry, Stacy, go ahead.
Stacey Grant on behalf of Terry Jones, father of Terry Jones Jr. and Layla Jones, and I'm ready.
Kenner on behalf of the mother, Tamesia Carruthers. Your Honor, I'm not sure if Miss Carruthers is present with Miss Garcia or not. Oh, she is. We're present, ready to proceed.
Jeff Hill on behalf of Dante Jones, father to Tavius Jones. He's not present, Judge. He's working today, but I am ready to proceed.
Stacy Zavala on behalf of the children.
Sylvia Garcia with St. Francis Ministries, permanency specialist.
All right, so Ms. Grant, I think you pulled the trigger first, so I guess I'll let you go first.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll speak to the items in my motion and just add one additional item. The caseworker in this case, Judge, has recently been changed, and so both of us are kind of just now locating Mr. Jones. He was actually located on, I believe, March 23rd was the first notification I had that he had been found in a nursing home. He has some incapacities, Your Honor. I do not believe at this time that they prevent him from understanding what is going on, but they do, Your Honor, prevent him from being able to communicate with me verbally. So we're going to try to communicate by video conference and see if that will work. He is another complicating factor, Judge, that I'm not sure I put in my motion is that he's in Oregon. He's not in Amarillo, Texas. He does have a legal power of attorney, but after reviewing the power of attorney, and I have a great concern. We did mediate this case, but I have a great concern in letting someone with a durable power of attorney mediate something extensive as parental rights, forfeiture of parental rights, things like that, without requesting the additional item in my motion, which is the request of a guardian ad litem to be appointed to assist me in the decision-making and communication with Mr. Jones to ensure that I've done all of my duty to Mr. Jones. He is likely not, he's likely, based on what I know without further investigation of his situation, not able to be placement for the children, but he has not, Your Honor, been even afforded, since we just located him, the opportunity to complete a caregiver resource form, to participate in a service plan in any meaningful way, to communicate with his caseworker in a way that would assist her in determining what's in the best interest of his children from his viewpoint, or to provide information in this case to the ad litem in regard to the children, including a medical history, should the children be placed permanently with another party other than the mother. And so my request today, Judge, is that we do a motion to extend for 180 days, although I don't know, Your Honor, if I'll need the entire 180 days, as Mr. Jones is inclined to speak with me and attempt in some way to work with this case and determine what's best for his children according to his power of attorney. He is unable to speak, and so the caseworker and I and a guardian ad litem would need to work together to ensure that we could speak to him and that he understands us.
Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and take Ms. Naranjo's. Let me let her go second and put her position out there on behalf of the mother.
Your Honor, Ms. Crothers is seeking an extension as well. I mean, based on prior hearings, we've had Ms. Crothers has made progress. She's had visitation with her children. She had it unsupervised. Unfortunately, we had issues that led to becoming supervised again. And then we did lose contact with her, but she has come back. I understand she did have a relapse, but she has taken upon herself to address that by enrolling in ChildCustody, I believe last Wednesday. She's currently in detox and currently present with Ms. Garcia. She's intent on addressing all of her issues. She really wants to be back with her children. I understand she has a plan for housing afterwards, after she's released from ChildCustody, to go to a shelter and also work on obtaining employment. Regarding her services, the majority of services have been addressed other than the domestic violence support group and maintaining her sobriety, both things that she is working with Ms. Garcia on completing.
Okay. So it's her intent to go from the detox into 30-day program.
That's correct. She's going to be in a 30-day inpatient program with ChildCustody.
And then at that point, is she talking about working in an intensive outpatient through them?
I believe so, if that's their recommendation, because she can also, depending on how the treatment goes, be expended up to 60 to 90 days in outpatient, depending on how that goes. But the initial plan is for 30 days inpatient.
Okay. All right, then, Mr. Trout, what's the department's position?
Department's position on these, Your Honor, has been, we've been in opposition to an extension. I completely understand Ms. Grant's situation as far as we've just found Dad, and his situation. I do understand that one. It's more toward, mom's side of things. We did have extensive hearings on this as far as placement with mom, trying to get unsupervised visits. We gave her unsupervised visits, and then she kind of absconded with the kids for a few days in the middle of this. We had to bring them back to supervised visits. My understanding, mom has not had a visit with the children since January. She showed back up right before the mediation last week and then checked into rehab. Our position on this is that there's not extenuating circumstances for the extension on mom's side of things, because mom just fell off the radar and kind of did her own thing and came back at the last minute. She has worked some services. I'm not looking at my reports, but I don't know that she has fully completed any services. And we've been in this case almost a year. It's kind of from our position, kind of a little too late at the last minute situation. As far as Tavius's case, Mr. Hill's client also has not completed services. We're at the end of the case and he's done nothing in the case. And he has not visited with children since February, is my understanding. So that is our opposition, Judge, is that we don't see that there's extenuating circumstances to show up at the last minute and ask for the extension.
Are the children placed together?
They are, Your Honor.
They are.
They're in a relative home. Let's see, I'm trying to remember a bit.
They used to be.
They were, they're not anymore. Yeah, I'm sorry, Stacey.
Yeah.
That's,
Okay.
they are now in a foster home that's located on the Lubbock Children's Home campus.
Okay, well, it's the age. Well, Mr. Hill, in fairness, you have any input on this?
Yes, ma'am. Obviously, Mr. Jones would like to see this case extended to give him some more time to try and take care of what he needs to take care of. And he's also very much in favor of the children's mother to be able to have her time to try and get her situation remedied and get the kids back.
All right, Ms. Zavala, what's your position?
Your Honor, I do agree in terms of mom. We had the situation where the kids were taken for multiple days and we didn't know where they were. And then she disappears. Then we have a massively high drug test. It does appear that this is very much too little too late in terms of mom. As to Dad, I understand that he likely will not be in a position to be placement. Dad as in Miss Grant's client, I apologize, to be placement. However, I do think it's important that we explore family through his side, things like that. I would ask the court that if we are looking at an extension in this case, that we set a final within just a few months and not look at the 6-month period. I believe that should be enough to help Ms. Grant do what she needs to in terms of her client. But I don't see the extraordinary circumstances to extend it to set a final a full 6 months out.
And Your Honor, I don't have necessarily an objection to Ms. Zavala's request. I can, if we set something and I do need more time, I can always file a continuance at that point and explain further. My only concern about just jumping in and agreeing today is the fact that he's in Oregon. That's my only, the distance is my only concern and how fast things will move. But again, he does have a power of attorney, and with the court's approval to appoint a guardian ad litem, I think we can move quickly for these children to get them some permanency established quickly.
Okay, well, they're obviously not in a legal risk home.
They are not.
And so, you know, I mean, the kids, the children are together. The children are obviously bonded. I mean, they're, you know, close in age. All those things that we look at as far as, you know, making sure we keep kids together and, or at least trying to do that. It's not a case that makes particular sense to me to say, okay, we're going to extend on Terry Jones's case, but we're not on Dante Jones and Ms. Carruthers. You know, it doesn't make sense to me that we're going to try them separately.
Yes.
You know, because we go to trial on one May 6th. You know, the circumstances might be vastly different by the time we go to trial on the other case. So, you know, I cannot, I feel like I've got to give Ms. Grant some time to, you know, get with her client now that he's been located, and under those circumstances, you know, I think we've got to give it the opportunity to let him tell us about, or his power of attorney, give us information about what family he may have, you know, that information. I mean, I think we're duty bound to look at all of that, and to do something otherwise and forge ahead May 6th, I think, you know, is trampling all over his constitutional rights as a parent. So, you know, although he may be disabled, we need to dig a little further to see what those options are. So what I want to do is give about 60 days. Obviously, Ms. Grant, if you all, you know, hit a brick wall and have a real difficult time, you know, you can always ask for additional time, but I'd like to set it on July 1. I mean, I'll grant the extension in both cases, but I want to set them, we're looking at July 1st at 9 o'clock on a 9 o'clock docket. So everybody can check your schedules. But that being said, you know, Ms. Carruthers and Mr. Hill, your client's not here, so I can't address him directly, but you can certainly pass this along. You know, y'all just cut a break. That's all that there is to it. You just got lucky here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Because if we hadn't found Mr. Terry Jones, we would have been proceeding as if we'd not been able to locate him, and we would have just gone on down the road. So on May 6th, there would have been no basis for me to have found extraordinary circumstances at that point to extend the case, because it's too little, it's too late. So, Ms. Carruthers, since you're here, I am telling you, you had really better take it seriously for the next 60 days.
Yes, ma'am.
And, you know, it is time for you to make some really, really, you know, life-changing decisions.
Yes, ma'am.
You're either going to step up and be a parent to these children that you've brought into this world. That was your choice.
Yes, ma'am.
Not theirs. And you're either going to get sober, get a job, provide a home, and do the things you need to do for them, or you can just go back out and be a drug addict on the street and never see your kids again. And then if you have another one, then the same thing's gonna happen to that one. So, you're in a cycle that, if you don't break it now, you're probably never gonna break it. And you've got 3 young children that are being drugged through a process. As hard as we try to make it a good process for those kids, there's nothing good about kids getting taken out of their home and taken away from their family and parents and people that they know and that they care about. So, as hard as we work at it and to make their little lives whole and better and safe, all those things, we still can't achieve them getting to be with their mama. So, you've let your kids down over and over, this is one of those moments where, I feel like I got to shoot straight with you. I mean, you got a real uphill battle with me because I'm tired of seeing your kids disappointed. Yeah. You know how hard it is on them to get to go with you and start having unsupervised visits and they're beginning to think, hey, we're spending more time with mom, or maybe a 1 and a 4 and a 5-year-old don't consciously know that, okay, maybe we're getting close to getting home with mom, but they know there's something different, and they like spending time with you and they enjoy spending more and more time with you. And then all of a sudden, you jump up and do something stupid. And then they're kind of like, well, where's mom? Why don't we get to see mama? That's a really hard question to answer for kids that age. It's hard to look at them and say, well, your mom likes drugs better than she does you. And obviously we don't say that to children. But that's kind of the decisions you've been making. So I'm really not trying to beat up on you, ma'am. I'm just trying to tell you like it is. And so the sooner you look in the mirror and recognize that this is what it is, the better off you'll be. And maybe the more successful you'll be. There's no one else to blame. This is what I hear from addicts all day long, every day, day in and day out. It's always someone else's fault. But the truth is, it's nobody else's fault. It's been your choices and your decisions. So you can either make the decision that you're going to do your best to show me that you can provide a stable home for your children, or, just let them go and let's find really good homes for them.
I'm going to do it.
So, so you're going to get the benefit of some extra time. It's not a lot. And we'll see where we're at in 60 days. Okay. I mean, I'm going to tell you, like I've told a lot of parents, I mean, my intent is to go to trial on July 1st. But, you might surprise me. And if you're doing really, really, really great and you've made a lot of strides, I do have a heart. And I will consider giving you some additional time.
Yes.
But you've got to overcome a presumption with me right now that you're going to make it and you're going to get this done and it's going to be in the children's best interest.
Yes, ma'am. I will.
And right now, those odds are stacked against you because right now, sitting here today, I couldn't look at it and say that it's in the best interest of the children. So, use your time wisely. I think you should stay at ChildCustody in their program as long as you could stay. I think you need a long-term treatment program. I think you may want to look at you know, an outpatient program, you know, with like Martha's Home or something like that. I mean, we're talking about stuff that's a year-long program, but you know, you can ultimately have your kids with you in some of those places.
I think from here I'm supposed to go to Downtown Women's Center. There's a 2-year program after this when I'm done here, and I'm supposed to be getting the application done to turn that in as well. So when I'm done here, I go straight there. And
Okay.
then there's like a housing program. I'm on HUD. I moved up on my HUD list and everything. So
Okay, I mean, I'm very familiar with their program. It's a wonderful program. And I've had some moms that have had great success with that program. You know, so, you know, it's a really good one to look at.
yes,
But
ma'am.
you gotta be 100% committed to it.
Yes, ma'am.
And the ones that don't make it are the ones that decide to leave early. You know, you gotta be committed to stay the whole time. Those are the ones who have success.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so what's that, set our new dismissal date?
Give me 1 second, Judge.
Sure.
And Judge, while I'm doing this, Terry Jones is pled in as an alleged dad on both children. Since we just found him, we did paternity testing on and Antoine Gentry on as far as Layla. Just throw it out there for Ms. Grant. I don't know if her client's going to want paternity testing since he's alleged on both children. If we want to go ahead and get that in the works also.
I would say it would, since we only have 60 days, I would ask the judge to go ahead and order that. And if, you know, if he doesn't want it, I can always withdraw the request, but I would like to go ahead and request it just so that we can start.
Yeah, I think we better, and I think we do it as to both children,
Yes,
definitely.
ma'am. Okay.
I mean, we gotta get it done out of state, and I mean.
And Your Honor, Ms. Katie asked in the chat, if do we want to leave May 6th as a permanency review for this case or set it on a different docket? Because we may need a review before July 1st.
Yeah, no, I think we could go ahead and just leave it on for May 6th as a review hearing, since everybody's kind of already got that set aside.
Thank you, Judge.
That just makes sense.
Be Friday, November 7th would be the 6-month date, John, the new dismissal date.
Unless. But I know y'all don't have clients here, and you may or may not. I mean, we could do a review right now if y'all want to do it and then not have to do it on May 6th. That's just, but I know your clients didn't really have notice that we were going to do that today, so.
I'm good either way, Your Honor. I don't know if Miss Sylvia is the new caseworker on it. She hadn't been on it but about 2 weeks now. I don't know if she's ready for a review hearing today.
Let's just leave it on the 6th.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I'm on staff. We're gonna be staffing on this on Friday, so I'll get to meet with Ms. Garcia and then we'll be ready to do the review on the 6th.
All right, then, I do find that extraordinary circumstances exist with respect to Terry Jones. That would warrant the extension in the cases. I'm going to grant it in both cases because we don't want to try these separately. We've got siblings that are placed together, siblings that are bonded. And so I don't foresee that right now that separate outcomes, you know, would be, you know, the way to go with this. So, anyway, I will grant the extension in both cases, and we'll set that new dismissal date of November 7th of 2025. And then I'll see everybody back on the May 6th date for just a review hearing. And then we'll right now set the final on July 1st of 2025, and that'll be on a 9 o'clock docket. Okay, anybody got any questions?
Judge, did you make a ruling on the record as to my request for a guardian ad litem for Mr. Jones?
I did not, and I apologize. So let me just make sure a couple things on the record. I am gonna order the genetic testing on Mr. Jones as to both Terry Jr. and Lila. Correct, Lila.
Layla.
It's Layla. It is Layla.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Layla.
Like,
That's the first one. Okay, I am gonna have Miss Katie, we will appoint a guardian ad litem for Terry Jones. I don't know who's next on the list. If she can tell us real quick, that'd be great, just so you know. Okay, Jay Michelson.
thank you, Judge. I'll
we-
contact Jay and send him all the contact information for Mr. Jones and his POA.
Okay. All right, then, I appreciate everybody's time and getting together today so we could do this in advance of the hearing, so, I'll see everybody back for our review hearing May 6th.
Judge, I got one question. Is Ms. Grant or Ms. Morano doing the orders to retain or on this, or are we doing those? Since there's their motions, I didn't know if they were doing them.
I don't mind drafting the order to retain since it was technically my motion that was granted, Your Honor.
But you'd only do it in the one case.
In one case.
Ms. Naranjo, will you do it in the other case?
That's fine, Judge.
Okay, all right, perfect, I appreciate y'all. And then the department will get me orders on the genetic testing and Ms. Katie will, I think, do the one on the ad litem.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right, okay, Ms. Brothers, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank y'all, I'll see you pretty soon.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'll recall our initial permanency hearing 99413E on the Laura case. We're resuming from yesterday and let's see. I think we still have everybody here other than Mr. Hill's client who's incarcerated and I don't think we were expecting he would be present. Is that correct, Mr. Hill?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. All right, but Ms. Gomez is present with her client and Ms. Zavala is present, Mr. Trout's present. Okay, so let's back up a little bit to this situation with maternal grandparents. All right, they live in Laredo. So if they're willing to do a home study, you know, I don't mind doing the expedited home study on them. But I have some concerns, and I know from what I heard yesterday, others have got some concerns about the 2 moves versus, you know, 1 move. So let's kind of look back and see what all does mom still lack. I know the counselor suggested some additional counseling just for extra support. I mean, that could be ongoing. So we've got some domestic violence classes to finish and TPC to keep up with.
Yeah, we got some more sessions with the substance abuse with Linda Dudley through TPC.
Okay, and
I know she's also doing TPC, the mental health sessions through them also.
That if I may add, the mental health as well with Stephanie Vasquez. That's with TPC as well, but that's one that she has to make some progress on too.
okay, but she's done like parenting and rational behavior and some of those other ones we're done with.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
She's done her drug education and her parenting, and we have certificates on those.
Okay, any problem with drug screens?
Don't believe so. Drug screen's been fine, haven't they, Mr. Ryan? I think the report says. Yeah, she negative drug screens up to date, what I'm showing.
All right, she's working, she's got draw some SSI, she's got food stamps, she's got stable housing. All right, transportation, have we made any headway on that?
Your Honor, my client, if I may, works very closely with the Amarillo, I think it's the Coming Home program or the Going Home program, and they provide her with transportation to almost any given situation. As of her own vehicle, my understanding right now is that she does not have one, but she does not have problems getting to any meetings with me, getting to work, anything like that at all.
Okay.
And she has, I believe, stable housing too.
In addition, I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Brett.
Very, very briefly, in addition to the housing that Mr. Ryan's already checked in on, my client has also, in working with the Coming Home group, found another house that accepts HUD that is bigger. So there's more room for the children as well. So something else to take into consideration. She's working very closely with those individuals over at that office. Obviously, once we get that, secured and everything, the caseworker will get that address, kind of check on that, but it's all still local.
Okay.
And Judge, on top of all of this, if remember, we were going to have that hearing last time. We still have concerns with contact with mom and dad. My understanding that it's slowed off. I have not checked on that since that hearing to make sure on that, but that was one of our big concerns due to the mental state of the mom and what she's working on and the contact that was going on. So that's one of our biggest worries and concerns as far as getting the children back in the home too soon before some of this stuff has been addressed.
And my client, based on the last hearing, fully understands now that's part and parcel of everything. It's not just doing excellent on everything else and then that. So she's happy to continue the counseling if need be. And my understanding is that all contact has been cut off. And I think he's getting transferred soon. So that will make it even more difficult for him to try and contact her.
Okay, so Ms. Godina, honest truth, what kind of contact have you been having with him?
Like, honestly, I haven't had any contact with him at all because I know what's important right now is my kids. And I wanted to have the chance to talk to you myself. I also wanted to start by saying how deeply I love my children and everything I've been doing, working, going to classes, following every step that was asked of me has been for them. And I know I've made mistakes in the past, but I've taken responsibility and accountability for them. And I've worked so hard to change since being a part of my kids. And I've had time to reflect, grow, and to truly understand what it means to be a parent they deserve. And I've taken the classes, I kept up with my visits, stayed employed, and made my home a safe place for them. And all I want is a chance to just show you and them that I can provide a loving, safe, and nurturing home for them. But more than that, I know they need me too. I'm just here asking you to see the progress that I've made so far and the parent that I've become. I just want to be with them. I'm sorry. But I haven't had any contact with him because I know he's not healthy. Like, he's not healthy for me. He's not, and I want to keep my children safe. And if it means protecting my kids, I choose not to be with him whatsoever. I choose them over him any day because I know they come first.
Okay, all right. Well, that's what we need to know. So here's what here's what I'd like to see us do is I want to get her engaged in those services with the children, or particularly, I guess, really one child, with Jace is, and for her to start seeing what they're doing, what are they working with him on, how that's working. I want to go ahead and order the home study on the maternal grandparents. But I don't want to move the kids until we're all back together and see kind of where we are with everything else. So Mr. Ryan, do you know how often those therapies are with Jace?
They're weekly.
They are weekly? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good. Do we know when they are?
Off the top of my head, I do not.
Okay, so Ms. Godina, I don't know, with your work schedule, do you think you can add that in a weekly session where they're, to participate virtually with his therapies?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, is it just Jace getting therapy?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, all right.
I think I could be wrong. I think Robert's getting just a little bit of OT, but he's doing really well. And that, I mean, I may be wrong on that, but I think Robert's getting a little bit.
That's why I asked, because I thought I had read that he was getting something, but it may be that's gonna just that'll kind of take care of itself. I don't know.
And Judge, if I may, Mr. Ryan, were you able to get in touch with grandparents yesterday?
Yes, sir, I did. They said that they were willing to do a home study. So they confirmed.
I just wanted Mr. Ryan to check on that, Your Honor, to make sure, because they've kind of been back and forth on whether they wanted it or not. So
right.
This was as of yesterday. Yes, sir.
So here's my thinking is we'll do the home study, so we've got that in our hip pocket if it appears we're going to need it and have to make that additional move. And I'll just tell you, Ms. Godina, that depends on your continued progress and how much more you get done, say in the next, what I want to do is I'd like to set this for another hearing in about 45 days and see how the therapies are going and see how much more progress you've made on things. And just, kind of figure out where we're at. If we think we're close enough at that point to maybe trying, to work. Well, the kids are so far away. There's not much possibility of working into reunification. It's going to be pull the trigger and bring them home, as I see it. I mean, and unless somebody from St. Francis can tell me that they've got some other magical idea out there. So, I mean, I'm thinking 45 to 60 days. I mean, our next hearing wasn't set till August, and that's a little far away. So I'd kind of like to get back together, say mid-June. So I'd Miss Katie kind of look for a date. Let's see where we are. Let's see how it's been going with Ms. Godina and if she seems to be getting a handle on the therapies that they're doing with him, because all that's going to have to get transferred. If our drug screens are clean, if we're not having contact with Mr. Lara, or if we are making our appointments at TPC and we're wrapping up the other services, all that's looking good, then, I think then we kind of accelerate our, what might be normal, but I think we kind of accelerate, and then we maybe get the kids home and see how it goes. Counseling, that can be ongoing. She can continue to do that once the kids are home. She can continue to do TPC once the kids are home. There's a lot of these things she can move forward with, and I would want her to move forward. So I want Ms. Godina to understand, just, we're not going to just drop the kids off and we're going to disappear. That ain't going to happen. And if anything, Ms. Godina, we're going to be more up in your business, if and when the kids come home than we are right now. I can tell you that they'll be out there on a weekly basis and maybe more than that. So, let's just see what we can do in that interim. So Ms. Katie's saying June 12th at 9 o'clock. That's my feeling. Leave the kids where they are right now. Let's get her engaged in the therapies. Let's let her continue to hopefully make progress. You know, Ms. Gadina, I'm telling you, they're gonna be checking those jail records and phone calls and all that stuff to, verify what you've told us. So, I certainly hope you're being truthful with me about that because, lying to me once about it was not good. Lying to me a second time about it's really not gonna be good. And then get the home study going. So, all right, Ms. Zavala, I'm interested in your position about that.
Yes, Your Honor. I mean, this is a hard situation. Mom is doing, she's making progress. She's doing what we're asking of her. I am very hesitant about moving the kids too early, but at the same time, we've got to be moving forward. I think this sounds reasonable. I really hope she's able to participate in those therapies. I think there's some really good practical suggestions that are being talked about, and I know that the foster home is able to incorporate those, and we just want to make sure she's got that same information, so that for Jace especially, that it's a smooth transition. I don't want to put more on her plate, but I know that June 12th, the issues that I'm going to ask about are, how is this going to work practically? When you go to work, who's going to keep the kids? Where are the kids going to be? What's the care situation? What's the transportation to getting them to that care situation? So I want to lay that out front so that it's not a surprise when we get here. I mean, we've got to, if we're looking at actually moving the kids at that point, we've got to have a flushed out plan. But it makes sense to me to be headed that direction.
Yeah, and just because we have a hearing on June, whatever, Miss Katie, 12, doesn't mean the kids, I want Ms. Godina to be clear, that doesn't mean the kids may necessarily come home that day. It may be that, it may be several weeks from that date. I mean, it's really going to depend. We got to have it's exactly what Mrs. Zavala said. We've got to have a plan. Ms. Gomez knows what I'm talking about. Listen to her. She can help guide you with this, but we got to know who's going to be taking care of the kids when you're at work, what daycare, and then, the department or St. Francis can help us determine who's going to take over, Jace's therapies, because that will still be contracted through the department. So, I would like to look at, all right, we got a wait list for that? If we do, can we get on the wait list? Can we, can we get a jump start on that so that we aren't, we don't get the kids here and then we don't have anything in place for him. So I'm not, don't take what I'm saying that I intend to bring the children home on June 12th. I don't know yet. But I want to check in on all of this and then decide, okay, either we're ready to bring them or we're still a few weeks away from that, or maybe a month for that. But I think everybody understands what I'm saying. Anybody got any doubt in their mind about what we're talking about here?
No, ma'am, Your Honor. I would just say I understand with you got to make sure everything's good with the kids before that's done. And Mom has been working with us. Mom has been doing pretty good. We do have the situation. What my biggest concern is in this, and Ms. Gomez and I have talked about this. Some of the statements Mom made, I just want to make sure that Mom is getting the help on that and getting her head right, because we cannot get these children home with Jace's problems in the work that he has to have and care that he has to have. I do not want Mom to be overwhelmed and fall back where she was quickly. So we got to make sure that she is getting that addressed in her counseling and in her therapies, because it's never going to work if she is not solid mentally on what's going to have to happen.
100% agree.
And that is our biggest concern. So, and I understand where the court's looking and what we have to move to with Mom working and doing her services at this point, but until we can verify that's going to be our main concern going forward, is that mentally Mom is gotten the help and is where she needs to be for what's coming of it.
Yep, I mean, 100%, I agree. And so I understand that we're looking at some of these things maybe earlier than we do in some of our cases, but in all fairness, mom has jumped in and has, you know, done a little more for us than what we are in some cases. So I think we just have to look at it, but I just, you know, Ms. Godina, I'm not making you any promises. I can't be more clear about that. It's just got all depend on where are we on June 12th, and then what do we feel like we need to do at that point? So, you know, you need to start thinking about what does your support system look like? Who's going to be a backup caregiver? You know, not just daycare, but who else could you call on an evening or a weekend or something if you need help? You know, if you're just feeling a little overwhelmed and need to get out of the house for a few hours, you know, who is it that you're going to call? Who's going to be there? And we need to start talking about those people. We need those names. We got to run background checks on those folks. As long as we're involved and the state has custody of the children, they got a say in who's going to be around the children. And if the kids come home, they're just coming home and they're just placed with you. It's not like you immediately get legal custody back, because you're not. The state will still have custody and will still have control. So, you know, the kids can be taken out of your home again just as fast as we put them back. So, I mean, we got to be sure you're ready and that you've got a good solid plan in place. Okay, anybody have anything else as far as what we did today? Thinking about this, I just don't know what else to do, but just try to take another look at it. But I don't think waiting until August 19th is necessarily best interest of the kids.
I think that's what we had in mind, Your Honor, best case scenario, considering if the progress continues as it's been going, of course. So,
Ms. Sessions, I'm going to just ask you, assume we've had no luck, obviously, in finding any kind of placement in Region 1.
No, ma'am. And that has been an ongoing request since the children were placed in the Austin area, and everyone has said no due to Jace's needs.
Yeah. Okay. We knew that wasn't going to be an easy task, but all right.
And just so I can ask, Ms. Sessions, is there anything else you need addressed, you think needs to be addressed today?
No, I think that pretty much covers it. I mean, I think that with her going to these weekly therapies, like we're also going to want to see some like summaries of what she's learning and her being able to have those conversations with Sean, like that she's taking notes and she's able to regurgitate the information. Because it's one thing to sit in these sessions, but it's a completely different thing to come out of those and be able to recite what it is that you've learned and how you're going to put that into practice. So that's going to be a big focus with Sean when he's meeting with her. And he probably will be meeting with her like starting now going forward until June much more regularly when she's in these therapies to kind of keep up with that information.
Okay.
Other question I did have, and I hadn't addressed it today. Did somebody say something yesterday that placement is willing, if mom can get down there, that they're willing to supervise some contact?
So
They actually did supervise the visitation when mom they met in Abilene, and they supervised that visitation, and they're willing to continue to do that.
They've told me they're willing to do it on a monthly basis. They're also willing to, fly all the way here, but they're footing the bill for when they meet in Abilene, and then, and they stay in a hotel so that it's not back and forth. They're willing to pay, it sounded like, up to about $500 to come all the way here if somebody can kind of make up the difference for that. I think they want to be able to give mom opportunities to be more hands-on, but it is that difficulty and cost of the location.
So is it feasible, Ms. Godina, is it feasible for you to make another trip to Abilene to meet them?
I mean, I could.
I mean, can you get somebody to take you there or get transportation to go there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm gonna let y'all try to work out some of those details, but if we can get another in-person, you know, visit set up, maybe after we've had several of these sessions, you know, so that then mom can be, you know, face to face with the child and work some of those things during that visitation time. You know, if they can get together and spend several hours together, so she has an opportunity to try to demonstrate, and placement can certainly help. You know, Ms. Godina, you take the, you know, take their advice and their help in that regard. They're the ones doing it day in and day out right now. I mean, let them guide you and work with you on, okay, here's a better way to do this with him, or here's how we're doing this and how we're getting results with him. So, you know, listen to what they've got to say, and take that to heart. You know, that these folks are not the enemy, clearly. You know, they're doing a good job with the kiddos, and so, you know, sounds like their hearts couldn't be any more in the right place. I mean, based on their willingness to do some of these things for you. So, let's take advantage of that. Okay. All right, then today I'm going to continue the department as temporary managing conservator and continue the children's placement. I find a continuing danger to return the children home today, but I do find mom is in compliance with her family planning service. I would also make a finding that Mr. Lara is not in compliance. I am going to order that mother would participate in the speech. I'm saying speech therapy, that may not be the right word, but in the therapy sessions with Jace virtually. And I'm going to order the expedited home study on the maternal grandparents, but no move to be made at this time. In-person visit can occur, you know, if that can be arranged, but I would like to give it at least several weeks, you know, before, so she can learn some of these things. Okay. Then, like I said, we'll get back together June 12th.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, ideally, if we could set up for mom to have a visit sometime around the first part of June, you know, that I think would be about an ideal time frame for that to happen. And we'll see how all that goes. And then we can talk about it in June. Okay. All right, so we'll have a review hearing June 12th on the 9 o'clock docket. I think that's it. Can anybody else think of anything else?
I think we discussed what we needed to, Your Honor.
Okay. I really appreciate everybody coming back today, because I just felt like we were just so pressed and so rushed yesterday, and it's just not a good way to resolve anything. So I really, really appreciate everybody logging back in today and taking time to do this. All right. Hope everything goes really well the next several weeks, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thanks, Judge.
Y'all have a good afternoon.
Thanks, Judge. See you next.